Is following the money, about $70 billion, that will be included in Wisconsin's next budget. And tonight in Madison, the governor will lay out all of his ideas for state spending. Fox 11's Andrew LaCombe will be at that budget address tonight, and he's here in the studio this morning with more. Good morning.
Good morning, Rachel. That's right. We're joined now by Charlie Jacobs, a political science professor at St. Norbert College. And Charlie, a big question people are wondering tonight is how does Governor Walker eliminate a projected budget deficit? So what's kind of jumped out in the debate so far of what we know?
I think a couple of things have jumped out. One in particular is this is a very large budget for the state of Wisconsin, $70 billion. But despite that, he still has quite a bit of fat to kind of cut out of the budget, $2 billion or more projected as a possible deficit. So he's trying to cut big and small. One of the smaller items is a proposal he has for trying to drug test individuals who might be on the supplemental nutrition program, or what we call food stamps. And so this is an issue that he thinks might be a cost saver for the state. There are a couple of problems. One is that these programs often tend to cost a lot of money because you don't capture many people, because the drug use rate among those on welfare is about the same as the general population, and the cost of testing is rather high. The other issue with that program is that it's likely unconstitutional under the Fourth Amendment as a suspicionless search. So you might wind up spending a lot of money just trying to defend the program in state and federal court.
Sure, when we talked to the governor about that program, he didn't have a price tag to put on it, but one area he did put a price tag on was the UW system, a $300 million cut he's proposing there, also adding some freedom to the system, some freedom from state oversight. What do you see in the debate over that proposal?
What I see there is that, I mean, it's a big pool of money, and so when you see the large bucket, it's easy to tip it over and pull some of the water out. And so I think what he's thinking is that no one really will miss it. Spread out over all the campuses in the state, it's only going to be a little bit out of the pockets of every campus. But as most campuses know, they're already working pretty lean, especially since there were tuition freezes in this state. And I think it's going to create some real pinches for those, both students, faculty, and staff who are going to have to give a little bit more. I think there's going to be real pushback from the lobbies from those organizations, and I think that even parents might recognize that any cost savings they see on the tax side with any breaks they might get either through property or income taxes are going to be lost if they want to send their child to school. So I think the governor is going to have a real hard sell to the public if that autonomy for the state doesn't come through and you see real loss of services for the students.
Now, we mentioned a few moments ago, Governor Walker continues to consider a run for presidency 2016. How does that consideration play into this budget debate at all?
I think it plays quite a bit because, I mean, he's got to develop a budget that is going to reflect well on his leadership style and the kinds of policies he thinks he's going to develop along the way if he's going to run for the presidency. And so Republicans and conservatives already don't like taxes, and so if he has to float taxes, whether it's a fee or it's an increase in a licensure cost, he's going to be tagged as a tax raiser by anyone who's in the GOP field. So he has to be very careful about what he uses to generate revenue in the Treasury for any of the programs in the state, and that's why bonding is probably a big issue for him when it comes to transportation funding. It's a way to have the resources available to help with infrastructure projects without taxing the public. I mean, the transportation secretary in the state said it would probably be better to raise taxes, either the gas taxes or fees on a variety of elements of his programs, than it would be to use the bonding, because the bonding is going to be huge and it's going to be a big debt load for the state.
Now, tonight, the governor will lay out his full proposal. We know some details. We'll get the whole picture tonight. And then what happens from here? A lot of debate you expect in the legislature?
You're going to see a lot of lobbying and a lot of button hooking by especially the departments in the state, because they've all put in their budget, and even if they continue spending in the state at the same level, we're going to run a deficit in the state. But they've all asked for more, especially the Department of Public Instruction. They've asked for more than $600 million to backfill in areas where they've lost funding in the past years. So you're going to see lots of grappling about who gets money, who's a winner, and who's a loser.
All right, Charlie, thanks for being here this morning. And still a lot unknown here. We're talking about public school funding, the voucher program, a lot to learn tonight. And you can watch the state budget address live at fox11online.com. It begins at 7 p.m. We'll also have more coverage on Fox 11 News at 9 and tomorrow on Good Day Wisconsin.